Hey guys, it's Sithlore. Wanted to talk about Lashing Tail Kick tonight, which is the first secondary skill available to the monk. Now this is a skill that is like the cleave ability in as much as it's a short range AoE spell that looks like that and does 235% weapon damage, so it's a pretty powerful skill, although it does cost 30 mana, so it's not something that you can just spam and use repeatedly, as it is pretty spirit intensive. But like I said, it's a good skill. As you saw in one of the attacks, it does have a chance to have some knockback, which you can look at it as either a good thing or a bad thing. Good from the perspective that it provides you a bit of a safety net, but definitely a bad thing considering monks enjoy hand-to-hand combat and you want them within range, especially when it's this type of enemy where they're going to summon others, so you want to kill them as quickly as possible. So let's take a look at the various rune choices available to us. So the first rune choice, which is Vulture Claw Kick, it does two things. The first thing is increases the damage by 10%. So instead of being 235% weapon damage, it's now 258. The second thing that it does is it's now fire damage instead of what I assume is holy damage, although it doesn't actually indicate the weapon damage type. So let's take a look at it. The other aspect of the skill is that it does have a greater chance of a knockback compared to the base skill. The base skill, like you saw, does have some knockback, but in this case it's almost always a knockback associated with it.
I don't have enough spirit to feel the wrath of Yitar.
So this is a good elite pack to test this out on. And this is a situation where, when dealing with the plagued, the knockback can actually be beneficial. So after taking out these guys, let's go to town and we will check out what the next rune choice is. Overall, that is a fairly powerful rune choice as a result of the additional damage. So the next rune choice is Sweeping Armada. This increases the knockback significantly by 150% and provides a 60% slow. Now, this is not a rune that I like a lot, and the reason being is because the movement speed is great for the defensive purposes of giving you some extra room and freedom, but again, because of the fact that I'm not just a very big fan of knockback for melee characters, it's not something that I'm overly impressed with. But we'll take a look at it anyways. So there's the knockback, and let's try this one more time. Except I didn't want to kill him, so we'll try this again in a sec. I'm not going to use it on these guys because they'll just, it's a waste of the spirit. Alright, so you can see the movement speed that they're moving at now, and now that the 2 seconds is done, they are moving significantly faster. So that's how they're moving as a result of the 80% slow. So it is very effective, and it provides a huge slowing effect, but again, overall, I don't think it's overly beneficial. If you have a ranged ability, then and you want to kite a lot, then it's a great rune choice. So Spinning Flame Kick is the next one, and this changes the skill quite significantly. So instead of being a short range AoE cleave type ability, it produces a column of fire, or a tornado of fire, I guess is a better way of expressing it. So this is the ranged ability that you want. It does provide quite a bit of knockback, although I've never seen it trigger a double hit. So the range is medium, or long medium, depending on your definition of... for a ranged ability, I'd say it's a medium range. For hand-to-hand, it's definitely long. So it does quite a bit of damage. It does the 294% damage, and is a linear AoE skill. So depending on if you're doing any kiting whatsoever, then this is going to produce much more damage than just being in melee range. But I find that when I'm dealing with large packs like that, it's not as effective. So let's just take care of these guys. Now that I'm out of spirit, we'll just go in hand to hand. I am using very, very few other abilities, so most of the damage is coming just from my secondary and primary attacks. I will use those other abilities if I'm dealing with elite packs. So Scorpion Sting, the normal type of ability where it's short range AoE, cleave like AoE. But what this does is it provides a 50% chance to stun the enemies. So rather than... So this guy's stunned, as you can see, so I can just wail away on him for a sec. I find this to be a good rune choice when you've got a really fast attack speed. What I've decided to do is to go more for weapon damage rather than attack speed in this build. And so because of how long it takes me to between each attack, I don't find that the stun is overly effective. So the last rune choice is the Hand of Yatar, and so this again is reducing the movement speed by 80%. But the difference between this one and the other one is this is literally a long range spell. So on paper it looks great as it allows you to kite, but you still have the same spirit cost. And so again, it looks great on paper, but I don't find it to be overly effective, but it is still a good rune choice. So you can see how many people were affected by that hit. It didn't show the stun very well, so we'll find another group of enemies to show you that. So there's the movement speed. You can see they're going pretty slow, and now that they've increased in speed a little bit. So if you want to use it kind of this way, then it's great. You can damage enemies and stay at a distance, but now I'm out of spirit, so it won't be something that you're able to use significantly for long periods of time, but it will be quite a bit of damage that you can do if you're worried about plagued or molten or something along that line. So anyways guys, that is the Lashing Tail Kick skill. Any questions or comments, leave them below. If you like the content, please subscribe.